Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Today we'll be going over the Ruckus Unleashed solution. This is our controllerless offer and we're very excited to provide you an overview on it. I just want to quickly share with you our disclaimer. This information is all confidential to Ruckus Wireless, so please take some time to read our disclaimer when you do have a chance. For our agenda today, we're going to cover the wireless LAN challenges for SMB, the target market for Ruckus Unleashed, product introduction, solution positioning. We will go over the product SKUs because they're a bit different than the regular SKUs that we have been using for our APs, pricing and availability, software roadmap, and use cases when it is the best time to position Unleashed for your sales opportunities. So first I want to go over some wireless LAN challenges to kind of set the stage for what's happening. In the SMB market, there's three main trends that we are noticing. The first is customers are expecting more. Wireless is no longer just for them to log on, but it is becoming a true way of communication in retail stores, buying clothes or other accessories. As you can see here, 650%. There's a 650% increase in mobile data use by 218. So there's a vast opportunity from this perspective. The second trend we're noticing is that there's rising wireless LAN infrastructure costs. Now, this weighs heavily on SMBs because they do have limited budget and limited IT staff. And this is also impacting the way that they're looking at these solutions in this sector. And the third is exponential business growth. As you can see here, SMB businesses are looking to have a 60% increase in growth throughout 2015. This is quite significant. It really opens the door for us to focus on this segment from an Unleashed perspective. We are very pleased to introduce Ruckus Unleashed, our controllerless solution that is going to be joining us in the Ruckus portfolio. It has three main benefits that really suit the SMB customer needs. The first is simple deployment. You can configure your wireless LAN in just minutes, and you don't have to deal with the complexities of setting up a controller to manage the network. Now, this is a really big key benefit for SMB customers. The second is network investment protection. First and foremost, you're going to be reducing TCO and increasing your ROI, mainly because you don't have to buy AP licenses or that expensive controller. As your business grows and you have to serve more than 500 concurrent clients, you can easily migrate to an on-premise or cloud controller such as the ZD1200, or from the cloud controller perspective, the VSZ. So this really grows with you as your business grows. And the final is high performance. Deliver an optimal wireless experience. You have all of the capabilities of Ruckus and Beamflex and Channelfly, which leads to a reliable, resilient network that meets your growing customer needs.
Here is an Unleashed solution overview with Unleashed 200.1 version just got released. Here is an update as to what we have included in this version. So at GA, Unleashed R500 and R600 access points were supported. Now with Unleashed 200.1, in addition to Unleashed R500 and R600, now we have expanded our portfolio to R310, which is an indoor AP 2x2 11AC entry-level AP, and also outdoor access point T300 series. So it has the narrowband sector antenna as well as external antenna flavors of T300 are available, and that's why it's called as T300 series here. So now with that, now that we added more APs into it, let's see how the solution works. And just like in the GA version, any AP can be a master AP regardless of model, whether it's a R500, R600, R310, or T300. Anyone can become a master AP. And likewise, any AP can be a standby master AP as well. And other APs are all called as member APs. Now, every AP within the Unleashed network can actively serve client devices. And the solution supports up to 25 access points and 512 client devices. What are the key features with Unleashed version 200.1? It supports all Ruckus secret sauce as far as the RF is concerned. That includes Beamflex, Channelfly, background scanning, client load balancing, auto channel selection, etc. And it supports full guest features except the self-service that you may be used to if you are already a Ruckus customer. So it supports guest WLAN, internal captive portal, custom logo, guest passes, and all that. And it supports Zero IT, which is another innovation from Ruckus for easy device onboarding. And it also supports encryption methods WPA2 and AES from the UI. But also from CLI, you could configure some legacy encryption, which I'll talk about it in a later slide. It supports VIPs as well as other WLAN method, hotspot, L2 roaming, HTTP, HTTPS redirect. But specifically, what 200.1 adds is the smart mesh and SNMP support. What are the key differences between on-prem controller versus the Unleashed solution? On-prem controller, as you're all familiar with, such as Zone Director or Smart Zone, requires an external controller. That means customer would have to buy AP licenses in order to manage the APs that are deployed. From the Unleashed perspective, there is no external controller required. One of the APs function as a controller as well as it does the AP functions. So no AP licenses required at all. So customer would have to buy a bunch of APs as needed and start deploying them. That's all they need for the Unleashed solution. Obviously, from the scalability perspective, on-prem controller can scale much higher than Unleashed. On-prem controller like Zone Director can support up to 1,000 APs using Zone Director 5K and 20,000 clients. With Smart Zone clustering technology, it can scale even much higher than that. Whereas in terms of Unleashed, the target market is small medium business. It's for SMB type customers. It supports up to 25 Unleashed access points and 512 concurrent clients. Since on-prem controller is for much higher scale, it also supports WLAN groups and AP groups. But when it comes down to Unleashed, because it's for small scale deployment and for SMB customers, there is no WLAN group or AP group support. It's just all part of one group, and it is built into the code itself, so user cannot create a new group per se. Since on-prem controller has been around for quite some time, we have been supporting 11N APs as well as 11AC APs, whether it's a Wave 1 or the recently introduced R710, which is the Wave 2 APs. But on Unleashed, it's a futuristic product. Looking forward, Unleashed solution would support, to begin with, R500 and R600 11AC APs. There are plans to include other 11AC APs in the near future actually. As far as the on-prem controller is concerned, it supports both deployment models, which is the local breakout, also known as distributed, as well as the tunnel deployment model. Whereas in Unleashed, as it is for small scale deployment, all APs are expected to be in the same location, so there is no tunnel support. It supports the distributed deployment model, also known as local breakout. Alright, so when it comes down to the deployment, how do you deploy Unleashed? It's very simple and easy to deploy, and that's the whole purpose of this Unleashed. So you power on the APs. As soon as it's powered on, there will be a open WLAN. User could connect using their client device to that open WLAN. It will be called as configure me dash the last 3 bytes of the AP's MAC address. Once the client is connected to it, then the user could open up the browser and type unleashed.ruckuswireless.com. Once it's typed, our AP will spoof and then redirect the user to the AP that is responding to the client quickly enough. And then the user can follow through the wizard that's appearing on the screen. Once the wizard is completed, the user would have configured at least one WLAN, so the user will disconnect and reconnect to that newly created WLAN. The moment user completes the wizard, the configure me WLAN or SSID will be automatically deleted. As well as once the configuration is done, all other APs will discover and join this master AP automatically. Likewise, the master AP will also choose one of the APs to be a standby AP. So the user don't have to make any standby AP configuration. What's the target market for Unleashed? It is for small to medium businesses where the number of client devices are 512 or less client devices. And at GA, it's going to be positioned for single site deployment. So you can have multiple silos of Unleashed network, and it has to be managed individually, and that's why we call it as a single site deployment. Who are the target buyers for Unleashed solution? The target buyers for Unleashed solution are someone who has very little knowledge about the wireless LAN or WLAN or IT in general. They want to get the solution installed and start providing wireless LAN services to their customers within minutes instead of days, hours or days. And it could also be someone who's interested in Ruckus solution. You have done a fantastic job of explaining how the Ruckus secret sauce like Beamflex and what benefits the customers could get out of our Ruckus APs and so forth. So customers are really impressed and they want to try our solution. Instead of deploying in a large scale right off the bat, they would like to try initially the Ruckus solution to see how it performs in their real world scenario more than just the PowerPoint slides themselves. So they could start off with Unleashed in one or two retail store or retail bank or branch offices and so forth. So once they know how it works and what features are available, how easy it is to deploy, what kind of reporting that they can get at a lower scale, then they can make a big purchasing decision. So it could be a proof of concept and those type of things. So it could be a step in the door type of a use case that you can leverage the Unleashed for, and that could be another target reason for Unleashed solution. And similarly, this customer would be looking for on-prem solution. So they want anything and everything related to the solution has to be in their premises. They don't want to go in a cloud or some sort of other location to avail the services. So at the same time, they don't want to pay for controller, AP licenses and so forth. They are very, very cost oriented and make sure they want to pay just enough to get this WLAN services at their premises. So those type of on-prem solution is one of the requirement for Unleashed. And the other thing is, somebody who wants the services at their premises, at the same time, they don't want to pay a subscription fee on a monthly or yearly basis. So again, they need an on-prem solution, a one-time cost, and be able to deploy and start delivering WLAN services to their customers. So these are some of the key use cases where Unleashed solution would be very, very suitable, and that's what our customers are looking for from the Unleashed perspective. Once customer purchases the Unleashed solution, they've been using it, let's say, for a year or so, and now their business has been growing tremendously, and their number of client devices, projected to increase beyond 500 clients. Now, what do they do with these Unleashed APs? Well, they have multiple options. They could purchase an on-prem controller from Ruckus, like Zone Director or Smart Zone or Virtual Smart Zone, whatever they would need. And these Unleashed APs can be migrated over to that on-prem controller. Or if the local VAR or service provider is hosting a cloud in their geographical location, these Unleashed APs can be migrated over to that hosted cloud. Or if Ruckus starts to provide any future options, then Unleashed APs can be leveraged or migrated over to that future option as well. regardless of which option customer would choose, customers' investment with Ruckus is fully protected, as every single AP can be reused or repurposed for future purposes. Let's quickly take a look at what to position and what's the right deployment based on different solutions that Ruckus is offering. So you know, Exclaim is a Ruckus product, and also Unleashed and other controller-based products that have been selling for quite a while. So when do you position Exclaim? When a customer is under tight budget and they need reliable, very good Wi-Fi performance above the consumer grade, but they don't care about all the advanced features. And it doesn't matter whether it's a single site or multi-site, because it's managed from the cloud. That's when you want to position Exclaim. Now, from the Unleashed perspective, when do you position Unleashed? Well, let's say an enterprise or a small medium customer who need high Wi-Fi performance, and they do care about advanced features that I talked about, such as Zero IT, all the Ruckus secret sauce, which includes Beamflex, Channel Fly, background scanning, auto channel selection, client load balancing. All those RF features that clients care about is when you want to position the Unleashed. Unleashed support single site deployment up to 25 access points and 512 client devices. And also, one of the key differences between Unleashed and Exclaim is that Unleashed APs can be migrated over to a controller-based deployment model in the future if customer has plans to expand their network in the future beyond these 25 APs and 512 clients, whereas Exclaim APs cannot be migrated over to a controller-based deployment model. That's one of the key differences between Exclaim and Unleashed. Now, from the controller deployment perspective, it is for high scale, high performance compared to Unleashed. And obviously, because of the scalability and there is a complexity in the deployment generally involved because of the way how network would have been architected. There is an IT department that generally takes care of these type of deployments. And control-based deployments also supports both single site as well as multi-site. And it has all the advanced features that Ruckus has been supporting for a long time. These are for large-scale, high-density deployments. That's when you want to position a controller-based solution from Ruckus. Now, what you're looking at here is a much more deeper information in terms of the differences between Exclaim, Unleashed, and controller-managed solution. So, for example, if you take a look at the encryption, Exclaim supports WPA2 only, whereas Unleashed supports a variety of encryption methods, the WPA2, DPSK, AES, PSK, all those things. These are all can be configured from the user interface. Whereas, let's say a customer has a legacy device, client device that supports just TKIP, then it can be configured from CLI, but not from UI. But at the same time, if you take a look at the controller managed, because controller-based solution has been around for a long time, it supports a legacy as well as strong encryption methods from the UI itself. Likewise, both Unleashed and controller managed deployments support the integration of CloudPath for secure device onboarding, whereas Exclaim does not support the CloudPath integration. And also, controller managed would support Spot solution from Ruckus, as well as SCI, or the analytics solution from Ruckus, whereas Unleashed does not. So these are some of the key differences between these three different solutions that Ruckus has been offering. So we will pause it for a moment for you to absorb all the information in here before we move to the next one. Now let's look at the new SKUs that have been added to the Unleashed portfolio. So I'm sure you are very familiar with the R500 and R600 Unleashed SKUs. Now with the addition of R310 and T300, we have listed the exact SKU numbers. Again, the difference between the standard EAPs and Unleashed EAPs as far as the SKU is concerned is that the second letter after 9, which is the very first one, the second letter U represent Unleashed, and the rest of the characters remain the same. So that's what you want to keep in mind. And you have, I'm not going to read out every one of those SKUs, but you have it for reference here. And Unleashed runs a separate image, and that starts with 200 at the beginning, which represent the major version number, and then the second digit that represent the minor version number. Now it's changed to 200.1, and the rest are for internal use. So it is 200.1 right. Here are the pricing and availability information. So the R310 as well as T300 family of Unleashed EAPs are available now, and here are the prices listed. But although it is listed here, this is being recorded, and that's what you're listening to right now. It may have been changed when you are listening, so please do consult with Ruckus salesperson in your region for updated information as far as the pricing is concerned. From the deployment scenario perspective, where all Unleashed fit, Unleashed fits in almost any vertical that requires customer not beyond 25 EAPs and 512 client devices. So that includes small office or home office, small retail stores, convenience stores, small venues, coffee shops, insurance companies, and car rental places, health office, and so forth. These are all some of the perfectly suited venues for Unleashed.
So let's go over some use cases for when Unleashed is best suited. The first is network investment protection. Unleashed is a scalable solution that meets the growing needs of SMB. As you can see from this diagram, when you reach that limitation of 25 APs or 500 concurrent clients, you can easily migrate to controller systems. So the ZD platform or the Smart Zone platform, which includes the Smart Zone 100, VSZ, etc., or to a cloud-managed platform that is hosted by your local VAR or distributor. So it's very easy to get a network that grows with you. As mentioned earlier, as the Ruckus portfolio grows, we do see other migration options as well, and we'll be sharing them with you as they do come down the road. Another great area where the Unleashed solution fits is a small retail deployment, specifically convenience stores or quick service. In this segment, these stores are looking for a high performance and reliable network, but at a lower cost, and they really do have limited IT staff. This is where Unleashed plays a great role. You configure it in minutes, and it gives you that high performance network that we're used to from Ruckus Wireless products. You also can have value-add services that drive network monetization. We previously went over all of the guest features that are available with Unleashed, and this is where it plays a key role to meeting those growing customer needs from a shopping experience. And again, just to take a bit more of a deep dive, guest features really help drive that user experience that we're seeing from the digital transformation in wireless. You have the customized captive portal for branding, guest access, guest pass, and you can even have guests log onto the wireless LAN through SMS or email for fast connectivity. Again, great opportunities to leverage when driving forward and meeting those customer needs for SMB. So how do we sell Ruckus Unleashed? We created a few basic questions that we would like you to consider when talking to a prospect. The first is around network. Are they a small to mid-sized company with one location? What is the count of clients that they need to support? And are they looking for a network with heightened functionality and capability, which is available in this solution? The second is user experience. For a lot of small to mid-sized businesses, they're really interested in driving customer engagement, and this is through easy guest Wi-Fi capabilities. And finally, business impact. Are these prospects looking for a solution where the WLAN network can scale and grow with their business? In addition to these prospecting questions, we have several assets that you can leverage to help you sell. This includes a Ruckus Unleashed overview deck, solution brief, sales accelerator, and customer. Thank you so much for joining us on this overview of Ruckus Unleashed. If you do have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to your local Ruckus representative or partner to get